Thousands of churches are now streaming, tens of thousands potentially, but are we doing the best we can? Are there blind spots? Are there things that we're not doing that are so easy, low-hanging fruit that anyone else can tell us can see it, but we can't because we're trying to do all this and we're missing this huge low. We're going to talk about that today. Today, we're auditing your live streams with Ecamm and even some, if we get to it, without using Ecamm. But the strategy, the technique, the style, the advice, the best practices all equally count, whether you're using Ecamm Live or not. Let's get to it today. My name is Justin Nava. I am part of the Church Media Guys, where we teach you how to leverage technology, amplify your message, and change lives. With me is my partner, Dave Curley. Dave's been auditing live streams for decades, his own and for friends and family and for businesses. I mean, this dude is doing it professionally. All I have to do for most people is just say, Dave used to work for GeekBeat, and they just know. They just know this man knows what he's talking about. Dave, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah, we're talking.
I used to work for GeekBeat, so I mean.
Yeah, you're great. You know your stuff. Yeah. One of our insiders mentioned something. What's his name? Alex from the Mac. Oh gosh, I don't remember his name. Anyways, he mentioned one of the guys from the Twitch network or Twit network, and you were like, oh yeah, I talked to him all the time. And oh yeah, Leo. Yeah, used to hang out with Leo, and he was just like fanboy drooling, like, oh, Dave knows his
probably
stuff.
Patrick Norton.
Patrick Norton. No, it was the photographer Alex something.
Alex Lindsay.
Alex Lindsay. There you go.
Yeah. I've done stuff for Alex's company a few times, and gotten to know him. We hosted some stuff at NAB together a little bit, and when we opened up our big studio, we invited Alex to come and check it out and do all this. And it was funny because he walked into my control room, had a giant TriCaster 8000, all this sort of stuff. He came in and he was like, wow, this is absolutely fantastic. Dave, I'm here. Ask me anything you want. Just, I'm an open book. And so we just started talking and doing all this stuff, and he like showed me other stuff. And then we went and started critiquing Empire Strikes Back on a curved 8K, or not, it wasn't 8K. It was a 4K Samsung that we had, and it was like the first one to ever come out. So he and I spent some time looking at macro blocking and noise and stuff like that.
And the best thing I can say is I've bought stuff from Alex Lindsay. That's all I got. Templates. I like it because his organization, which unfortunately it's been so long since I've used it, they actually sold Final Cut presets and templates, and so while most people were doing Premiere and After Effects templates, they were doing it for Final Cut, and they were like one of the only ones doing it. And since I loved Final Cut, they were the only people I could buy from. But I was very happy with all the lower thirds and graphic packages and visuals. I just was really happy with it. And of course, Alex is a stand-up guy, so best I can say is, I've bought stuff from him.
Yep, he's a good dude, and he's
absolutely.
Just talk to.
Hey, before we get started, let me tell you, today's show is brought to you by Ecamm, through Ecamm, using Ecamm. I am hosting the show, and I am not a tech guy. In fact, this morning in a Facebook group, someone tagged me in a Facebook post from someone asking about a microphone or something like that, and said, Justin Nava, what do you think? You're the tech guy. And I said, I am not the tech guy. I don't do bitrate. I don't do outputs, inputs. Someone asked me how many IOs something has, and I'm say the same amount of BTUs and BLTs they have. I don't know nothing when it comes to tech stuff, but I can run a show pretty darn good with Ecamm. Go to getecamm.com for a 14-day free trial. You get the software. You get to do scenes, lower thirds, just like we're doing. I love that when you're broadcasting on social. I can see comments and reactions coming in. So I don't even have to be like on the social platform. I can see everything as it's coming in and respond and like and engage. And I can even add stuff to the broadcast. It's got a lot of nifty features, but really with Ecamm, what you're investing in is ease of use. I don't have to worry about where it's going to go, how it's going to get there. I don't have to worry about the correct settings to use. And I get a lot of features where I can just set it up and get going quick, because I'm not a tech guy. I got other things I got to worry about. So Ecamm lets me stream with ease. No matter where I am, as long as I've got a computer, I can stream with ease. So go to getecamm.com. That will tell them that the church media guy sent you and get your 14-day trial. No credit card required. Getecamm.com. Dave, we're talking about live stream audits today. We put out the call to both the Ecamm Live church community and our church media hacks community. We're going to start by auditing the streams using Ecamm Live. I personally used Ecamm Live for my church when I was there as a volunteer. I trained other volunteers to use Ecamm Live. We did some very basic stuff with it, but eventually we got the Pro Presenter coming in. We got lower thirds. We had videos coming in from the computer. We were very happy with it. So let's not take a look at my stuff. Let's take a look at some user submitted live streams for us to take a look at and take an audit. And if this is helping you today, I want to encourage you to hit the like button on the video. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button no matter what channel you're watching on. And if you're watching on Facebook, hit the like and follow button as well so you can stay up to date to everything live streaming for your church. Dave, you ready for the first audit?
Yes.
All right, we're going to try something different.
Okay.
Dave is going to screen share on his end, so there's no delay. And an interesting thing, too, Ecamm gives me both your camera and your screen share to pick from. So this is like really easy for me. So you ready for me to go to your screen? Or do you want me to go to you first?
Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, go to me first, just
Okay.
real quick, so I can tell people what I'm doing, I guess. Am I there?
Yep.
Oh, here I am. Okay, sorry. I didn't get the feedback. Sorry. All right, so when I do a live stream audit, everything that I'm doing is trying to make sure that the viewer is going to have the best experience possible. So everything I do is from the perspective of the viewer, okay? If I see something that you guys are doing right, I'm going to let you know. But I'm also going to be, I'm not being rude, but I'm going to be like really honest, okay? So when I'm tearing it apart constructively because there's a reason. And the reason is so that the viewer, when they are sitting there at home doing this on their phone, they're getting a really good experience, okay? So just keep that in mind. If I'm shredding yours to pieces here, I'm doing it in love because your audience wants to see the best that you guys have, okay? So without further ado, let's start with Cook Memorial Baptist Church. You want to kick it? Awesome. Okay, so here we are at their website, and I am just going to, which by the way is pretty snazzy. I am going to scroll down. They got their sermon archives, and okay, so I'm just going to hit this and see. Does this start playing? Yes. Okay, so worship service will begin in 9 minutes. So did I mute this? Is this site muted? Let me see. No. We will actually get audio if I have audio turned on because my computer is sending audio that I'm going through anyway. But I'm not hearing any audio. Switch to audio. Yes. Thanks. Yes. That is okay. So I actually don't know. I'm not. You know, my sound is up, and I am not hearing any sound on this. And I'm going to mute it, and I'm going to unmute it. Okay, I'm not hearing any sound on this. So that is kind of troublesome here. And the reason I'm saying that is because I don't know if this is just silent. So let's start off with a couple of things. One thing that I have seen at different churches is that they will just have something like this playing, where it's just going through slides, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you guys don't have like a CCLI license, if you do, then I would look at like playing some music through here, or go get some stock music that's just something that is cleared. You don't have to worry about getting a ding on YouTube with, and just have that going in here. And I would also, they sure do. Another thing, this one, it was the countdown said it started at like 9.5 minutes or something like that. So I'm just going to skip through. There's some music coming in now. So it took a while for music to come in. That's not good. And the reason that that's not good is because I was curious. I mean, you saw me. I was going, what's wrong? I'm not seeing. What did I do wrong? Why can't I hear what's going on? Okay, so and I do this for a living. So, if you confused me, you're going to confuse the average person. So, okay, that didn't sound good.
That did not sound good.
Yeah, you guys have got some sound issues going on. What I was going to say was doing this for 9 minutes that's a 9-minute butt number as far as I'm concerned. It's the same thing over and over again for 9 minutes. And what I would do if I were you is maybe start off with like a full screen and you go through the slides a couple of times, then maybe cut to a view that has the slide playing over in one quadrant and then has like a wide shot of the room playing over here in another quadrant. Kind of do a picture-in-picture kind of thing, a double box kind of thing. That way, they can actually have a little context as to what's going on. Okay, they're walking up to the stage. It's going to be soon. Okay, that sort of thing. If you do that, then you give them something more visually interesting to look at because you're asking them to sit here for 9 minutes and remain interested. So let's get out of this and get to.
Can I spend just a minute on countdowns as well?
Yes.
I'm gonna bring myself up. Here's the deal. First of all, countdowns for the live stream, I get it. Okay, you want to have some time ahead of time to make sure that the stream is working, the audio is good. 9 minutes is a bit long, but here's the deal. We do countdowns in church because you have what's called a captured audience, meaning that the audience is going to be there and you do a countdown to let them know we got 10 minutes left, finish your coffee, go to the restroom, go drop your kids off, go say hi to Aunt Meredith or whatever. So you can go ahead and get to your seat because at 0, it's going to start. Countdowns work great with captured audiences in a physical location. In a digital world, countdowns really don't matter because if I show up and it's 10 till, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go make some coffee. I'm going to hit the back button and I'm going to scroll through Facebook for a little bit. There is not a whole lot of point to countdown for the live stream unless you really just want to check and make sure everything's working, in which case 9 minutes is a long time. You don't have to do 9 minutes. If you're going to do a countdown, I suggest 5 minutes or less, or like we do at the church, Stream Your Church show, we go live, but we do a pre-show of about 10 minutes where we kind of make sure everything's working, but it's also entertaining because like today we're talking about California, Northern California, Southern California, heat differential between here. Where are you watching from? We've got people in Africa watching. There's a little bit of context there like Dave was talking about. You can see people setting up, tearing down, all that stuff, getting ready and excited for the church. Almost recreates that in-person feel. So if you're going to do a countdown for your live stream, it's okay. I get it. I wouldn't personally do it, but that's just me. And if I did, it would be 2 minutes. Additionally, for your playback, your on-demand audience, there is 0 reason they need a countdown. So go back into your video, trim out the countdown, and just have it go right away. Because imagine opening up a podcast on your favorite podcast app, and it says, hey guys, thanks for listening to our podcast. We'll get started in about 5 minutes. Just hang tight. What? You're skipping that anyways, or you're back like, whatever, this is too much work, okay? Get it out of your on-demand stuff. I understand going live, but as soon as you're done, just like we do here at the Stream Your Church show, as soon as it's ready on YouTube, we clip the pre-show and post-show because we just want the main content. Okay, that was a little bit more than I wanted to say, but Dave, back to your screen share.
Okay. All right. So, and I second everything he said. All right. So, my Amazon package just shipped, so that's good. All right. So let's hit play.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I want to welcome everyone that's joining us this morning. I'm glad that you're with us either.
Okay, this seems to be a static shot. If it were not a static shot, I would expect it to have been tightened up. But one thing that I want to stress is that when I'm looking at this on my phone, everything is going to be like really small. All of this stuff out here, let me turn on the There you go. All of this stuff over here doesn't matter, okay? All of this right here doesn't matter. The girl at the piano doesn't matter, okay? So what I would do is I would zoom up on this guy and get it framed up nicely, but make sure that he is in the frame and is the main thing in the frame because he's the one that's talking. So I realize we may have volunteer issues, we may be training somebody, or we may not have a volunteer and it's just a static shot and you're doing the best you can. That's great. Grab one of the youth and teach them how to use a camera because they can do that. Let's see. Okay, so that got squared up. That's good. Let's see. This is great. You guys are putting in. Look at this.
Especially this morning when we have one who's.
You guys are putting
their,
in
their
messages from the Facebook chat. That is great. I love that.
Cook Memorial, and
that is fantastic.
I would give those messages a little. See about giving a little bit of a color pop. There's a lot of black on screen.
Yeah.
I would pick a different color, but love it.
Yes. And I noticed that a couple of times it looks like he's looking at the camera, which is good. Since we are in a hybrid type environment, everybody, it's important that the pastor, all of you pastors, all of you people that are speaking or singing or performing on stage, you need to get into a routine of looking at the audience and looking at the camera, looking at the audience, looking at the camera. Make the camera another face in the audience that you are going to make a connection with. If you're like me, go to my full screen.
Okay.
If you're like me, when I do public speaking, whether it's like at a luncheon or a meetup or standing in front of the church, when I get up there, I immediately look for people who are agreeing with me. When I say things, I'll see a head nod or I'll see a big smile or something like that, and I will grab onto that person, then I'll see another one, I'll grab onto that person, and I'll see another one, I'll grab onto that person. And those are the 3 people or 4 people that I talk to as I'm doing the thing. The next one is going to be the camera. And you just need to do if you have tally lights or the record light or whatever, and that's on, if you need to, put a lamp in the back that's glowing, turn on a flash, something. Do something so that if it's back there in the dark, you know where it is as the speaker. And so now you're looking at Wanda, you're looking at Bobby, and then you're looking at the camera, and then you're looking back over at Wanda, and then you make your point to Bobby, and then you look at the camera. Because these people, at our church it's half and half right now. So they deserve as much attention as the people in the room do. So just keep that in mind. Let's go back.
Got time for one more thing here, Dave.
Okay. I like this. What you guys did was you shrunk the screen and you put your lower thirds in here. That makes them clear. Okay, that you've got a very clear 2-line lower third so that people can read the words, and that is great. I would look at maybe doing something to alleviate some of this blackness back here, even if it is as simple as putting a motion background that you have turned the opacity down, just so that there's something beyond just black, but these still pop out. Another thing you could do is not shrink. You could let this be full screen, frame it up properly, because she is framed very small in the center of the stage. None of this stuff, the drums don't matter. The thing over the baptistry doesn't matter. All of this over here doesn't matter. If she's the only one on the screen, let's do a shot that is from, say, the bottom of the iPad up, and she's in the center of the screen. Zoomed up, nice and close. You can see her. You can see her eyes, especially because for some reason she's wearing a mask, and anybody on stage is wearing a mask. So we need to connect with this faceless thing that's up there making noise. In this case, I need to see her eyes. I need to see, when she smiles with her eyes, I need to be able to see that. So get me close to her and let me connect to her, because when we see people's eyes, we can connect with them and start to trust them. That is very, very important. Take a look at the thumbnails that Justin and I do. You see our eyes. So just keep that in mind. And if you do a full screen and you put these on, you could put like a little bar across the bottom, and like a black bar, and then set the opacity to 60% or something. So you can still see what's going on underneath it, but it's kind of gray and the letters pop out just a little bit more. And you can always put a real tight drop shadow on the letters, and that just makes them stand out even more. What do you think?
100%. Penny is watching in the Ecamm YouTube channel, and
Okay.
Penny, I'm gonna be honest with you, Penny. You seem a little bit defensive, but this is a very good live stream. This is a very good start. You've got solid connection. You've got a lot of potential there with how you're running your camera. You've already got lyrics on. You've got engagement with the chat. This is a very, very good stream. So don't be down. And again, don't take Dave's critique as like, oh, this is terrible. Why are you even live streaming? Don't think that. So Penny just wanted to clarify. This is her church, and this was a guest speaker. This was a Gideon speaker, so it wasn't their normal pastor. Sure. And then also their sound and camera guy is the one who just had. Okay, it was just herself, I think, is what that says in the booth. So it was tough running sound. Yeah, trust me, I get it. I refuse to run sound when I'm running the camera. It's one or the other.
Look, I have done all of them all at the same time. So number one, I know it's possible. It takes practice, and you never want to have to be in that position. And when you are in that position, I understand. And you don't have to get defensive, please, because there are churches. We understand you were under different circumstances, but there are churches that this is standard fare for them, and so we want to show areas of improvement like that. So don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. We're here to serve the viewers, right? If we're here to serve the viewers, then if I'm doing something wrong, tell me so I can serve the viewers. And that's what our attitude needs to be. That's what all of us who are in the church media business our attitudes need to be. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. You guys did do a great job under the circumstances. I would love to see much more tighter shots, much tighter shots, so that I can see people with their eyes. And I'm just going to say something about the mask thing. I don't know about what your particular state or city or municipality says, but the general rule of thumb that I am hearing around places is that a mask is suggested, but if it interferes with doing your job, then you don't have to do it. So if you're standing up there in the pulpit by yourself, why do we wear masks? It's like everything says, be sure to wear a mask when you can't effectively social distance. Well, a congregation 25 feet from the pulpit is effectively social distance. So you don't have to wear a mask. Now, if you're doing it because you want to say, I'm in solidarity and I'm going to wear a mask like people in the audience are and stuff like that, that's fine. You guys are going to have to compensate with the camera, because all I'm looking at is a stormtrooper standing up there like from Star Wars. I'm just seeing a big covered face and I'm hearing, it's we have to connect. So let me see the eyes if you can, please.
100%. While Dave gets the next recording up, I view I'm a little bit like on the other side of Dave. Like, if you don't want to wear a mask, I get it, but I think it's fascinating, at least right now, that in a way that a pastor should dress or might want to dress like the congregation. We say we're a casual church, so I'm going to wear a polo and chinos, or I'm going to wear a polo and jeans on stage because I want people who are wearing shorts or flip-flops or whatever. Some pastors preach in flip-flops or even just take their shoes off, which is gross. But anyways, they dress a certain way because they want their congregation to feel comfortable. And if your congregation would feel more comfortable with you wearing a mask, more power to you. You don't want to wear a mask? I don't know, me and Dave are both pretty heavily libertarian, so you do you, boo. But anyways, yes, what Dave said, if you're going to wear a mask, I say more power to you. I think that's cool. I think that's going to put a lot more people comfortable, because you have to overcome that barrier into getting people invested in your church. And if they live stream first, seeing you're wearing a mask from the stage, knowing how uncomfortable it is, how inconvenient it is, how problematic it can be, they know that you are taking every precaution to keep everyone safe. And they will get one less barrier into actually coming to your church when they feel comfortable. It's one less thing for them to feel uncomfortable about it. Penny, thank you so much for submitting. You were just explaining the situation, and you very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. You are very welcome, Penny. And Chris asked in the YouTube chat, how are you getting the comments on the stream? You can do that with vMix. You can do that with Ecamm. Penny is using Ecamm Live. So if you want to play with that, get ecamm.com. You can get a 14-day free trial, and that's how Penny's doing it. You can also do it with vMix. Chris, you're an insider, so we can talk about that and how to do that in Mastermind as well. All right, Dave, you ready for church number 2?
Yay, yes.
Also, this is also going to be an Ecamm Live church audit. Let's get to it. You ready for the screen share?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Here we go.
So we have Central Christian Church, and We have
Can
a
you put it in? Can you put it in theater mode just to make it a little bit bigger?
Oh, sure.
Or full screen. That works too.
Well, my ratio is off. There we go.
Okay,
My
there we
ratio
go.
is different than yours are. I got like a cinema screen here. Okay, so we have this gentleman, and this is where the link went. The link went here to this time index. So I'm just going to start playing here, and we're going to take a look.
And as you speak,
hey, I hear a little bit of reverb on his mic. Good job. He needs a pop filter. Pop. So let's skip forward. He's really good. All right. Is that Daryl from The Office? Okay, this shot, just about this shot, it is a very wide shot. Now, this shot is going to set your an establishing shot, basically. This is basically going to give context to where we are. I would be sure that you don't stay on this shot for very long, simply because if you're looking at it on a phone, this guy is tiny. This guy is tiny. And I just see a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't matter right now. So when you have a shot like this, I would go to this shot. If people are walking on and off the stage, that's kind of what I use it for is transition time, because then you just see movement and then we move back to a close-up shot. But let's try not to keep it on there too terribly long. Okay, just another thought. I see the priest coming up on the left-hand side there. Just another thought. I would try to snap up the transition times just between the segments. If the priest hears you rounding the song out, he should be standing right there. Basically, as soon as you get up, he's stepping up, and as you're continuing to walk off the stage, he is, good morning, everybody. Take your Bibles and turn to, so that there's an organic flow to it. Because this time, from the time that he finishes to the time he walks off, we're just kind of sitting there waiting. It's good for both the people in the room and the people online. So let's go to his shot.
Yeah, my rule of thumb is they should be able to high five. If one is exiting and then the next one starts entering, that's too late. They should be able to high five at the halfway point.
Yes.
The high five rule is what we call it.
Word, and as we do that now,
boy, he sounds good, y'all. Good mic.
Mouth and all of our thoughts and
this is a good shot.
To you, our rock and our redeemer. Amen.
It's good and clear. Let's see what we're doing. Okay, we're tracking him as he moves around.
Today
that's good.
We begin a new.
One thing, when you have this, especially when you're dealing with a stage, Justin, go to my full screen real quick.
Okay.
When you are dealing with a stage, and you're either like in my case, for a long time, we were shooting our primary camera up in the balcony, off to the side just a little bit, so it wasn't straight on with the center of the pulpit. It was off this way next to the booth. I mean, like right next to it. Like, I could reach over and high five her. But that angle, when it's just a couple of degrees in one sense from the pulpit, as it goes out, the degrees widen, right? So you end up drastically looking like an angled shot. In this case, we have an angled shot. And you have to remember that when you have an angled shot like this, that as the person moves, and even when you have a head-on shot, to a degree, like if your head-on shots are not always going to be just like directly head-on. They may be just a little higher, or just a little bit lower. You have to remember that if the subject, the priest in this case, is moving on the stage in depth, when he steps back on the stage, he will be shrinking, getting lower in your frame, and then when he comes close to you, he'll be getting higher in the frame because of the depth. He is shrinking in the picture and coming, two-dimensionally, and getting larger in the picture. So, in this case, you've got a couple of things working against you. When you master them, they'll be perfect. and that is the panning that you need to do to follow him and the tilting at the same time. And I would recommend play with your tripod and find that spot where you've got the panning head, the pan of the head tense enough to not move if you let go of it, but loose enough, and I mean just untense, okay, so that when you move it, there's enough friction there that it moves slowly, okay? And do the same thing with your tilting, so that if you tighten it too tight, you can't move it, unless you and kind of overcome it. And if it's too loose, it may tilt just beautifully and stuff. When you let go of it, the weight of the lens or the on the back of it or whatever is going to. So find that spot where there's enough tension that everything is real smooth. And then as he's moving towards off to the side, then you're able to tilt and pan, and then pan and tilt back in the same position. So practice on that. But I love, you guys are nailing the close-up. I'm going to skip through a little bit more.
Looking at that close-up shot, would there be any benefit to backlighting as far as just getting some cans on the wall or something just to separate him a little bit more?
If you could, that would definitely work. Another thing is, I don't like this much headroom. I would cut this headroom in half if possible, so that he is a little more present in the frame, and he is a little more. He would carry a little more gravitas. If right now, the more headroom you leave in a shot like this, the more and more and more the subject looks like a little kid sitting at the grown-up table, and so that's what you don't want.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if this was a still photo, would this be? This looks pretty close to the rule of thirds. So do we want to just be above that third line, or am I just totally wrong?
I would be above that. I mean, the third line is, you got one coming down here about where his hands is, and then the other one will be coming across where his eyes are. I would cut this in half. You got this
People
space.
talking about someone, but when we
You got this space above his head. I mean, looking on my monitor here, it looks like it's an inch or so. I would make it half an inch. Just cut it in half, so that if he goes up on his toenails, if he goes up on his toes, his head will touch the top of the frame, or maybe go out for that split second, then be right back in where it's supposed to be. When we're talking about rule of thirds, if you were to draw a tic-tac-toe grid across here, that's what we're talking about. You draw a tic-tac-toe grid across your thing, and every time that there's an intersection point, that is where something of interest needs to be happening. So one thing that would work well, since he does move, is if he's moving a little bit, you may want to obviously get rid of this extra headspace, but then maybe since he's talking in this direction, he's talking off to his left, you may want to have him weighted a little bit more over to our left here on the screen, just so there's a direction that he's talking to. And it's a slight adjustment. It's not a big, we don't stick him over where the plant is. We have his head like right here, basically a head over from where his head currently is.
Yeah, this is a great shot when you got it framed on. This is a great shot that demonstrates the little kid at the big, or the kid at the big kid's table, just a little short.
Yes.
And I had never thought about that, but if you go watch Joel Osteen, Stephen Furtick, all those guys that are doing half professionals that actually are on salary running the stream, that whole weigh them in to the left if they're looking right and vice versa, you will see that now, and you will never unsee that.
Right.
Give them a little extra room when they're looking left and right, and you'll see a huge difference.
Right. And go to my full screen real quick, or go to me. Thank you. One thing that you need to do, and I always tell when you're working with volunteers, do not rotate your volunteers out every week. Don't do that, especially when they're first coming online. If I taught Justin how to run the camera, I want Justin running that camera for the next 2 months, and getting him what's going to amount to 8 hours of actual use and practice on there, because it's 8 months is a long time. I got to be there every single Sunday. Yeah, what's wrong with that? But you get practice, and you get consistent, and you get to fix what you broke last week, what didn't work, and stuff like that, and you get to get better and stuff. If I were doing this, if I had Justin and was teaching him, and he was at my studio, and he worked today and tomorrow, he would have infinitely more experience on running a camera than he would at 2 months doing it at your church, once, for an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours every Sunday. So just keep that in mind. And that also gives your camera operators the ability to learn the nuances of the person who is speaking, learn the nuances of the worship leader, learn the nuances of the people in the praise team, and whatever. The more cameras you have, the more people you've got to focus and learn their body language. I've learned with our pastor that when he picks up his Bible off the table, that means he's getting ready to move. And he typically will start by going to his right and working that direction. About halfway through the sermon, he will start leading to the left and coming around to the front of the table and stuff. So, you see this enough, and you can see these little micro gestures and micro movements that they make, which tells you they're getting ready to go this direction, or they're getting ready to go that direction, in which case you can start leading them with the camera and not trying to catch up with what they're doing. You are predicting what they're doing and following them at the same pace. So just keep that in mind. But CCC, you guys are doing a great job. I want to see if there's anything.
Was this the one with the timestamps? Maybe not. I might be getting ahead of myself.
This one it came in with a timestamp. It came in at a point.
One of them. Let's do Audit 5 next, because that one had some cool timestamps that they put in after the fact. That'd be a good demo. Anything else on this one?
No, this is good. I see you guys going to something written on the screen. Let me see this. Oh, this is responsive reading.
2 legs or 2 points of a triangle, I and you, are represents. The word you represents straight line communication.
Okay.
They said.
Okay, so no, it's just a scripture. Good job. This is great. This is very easy to read. I like this. Good job.
Yeah. The worst thing you can do is put 30 verses on one slide.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. 4 lines max.
Yeah, this is great. Just, the other visuals that you're using in here, this is great.
Yeah.
It's very okay. Now here's where we see a problem. Okay. That's not how we're doing them these days.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
This is very hard to read. I'm having to squint at my phone and hoping that, especially, I'm just looking at this. You've got rounded letters, so they're not sharp, which means they're going to be soft looking when I'm squinting down at my phone trying to read all this stuff horizontally that you put up here. What I would do if I were you is, most churches now are either doing 4 lines or 2 lines. 2 lines is basically the rule of thumb for most churches, and it takes more time, and the person has to pay attention and actually know the song to make sure that they go to the right words. But it's much more clear for the people online, and it's much more clear for the people that are in the room, that are sitting 12 rows back looking at a screen that is 40 feet in front of them. They're not going to get lost. Where am I? Like you're looking at the page and your friend has to reach over and point at where we are. It's just, there's 2 lines and you're hearing words and I see words and they match, and it's very easy all the way around. So I would definitely do that. I want to see. Okay, so this gets boring. Okay, what I would do is I would look at ways to do lower thirds, and again, you can do 2-line templates for your lower thirds, so that I can actually see the person who is leading the worship. I can see them because that's visually interesting to me. Why? Because I'm an audience that is watching television. So remember, we're making television. We're not making a worship service. We're making TV. You have to think in those terms, that we're making television, and that equates in a viewer's mind as, I watch Netflix all the time. I see, the news. I watch cable. I watch all this sort of stuff, and they have high production values. And now you're asking me to watch this, and this sucks compared to what I see on Netflix. That's the kind of things that go in their heads. So we have to try to meet them where they are. So we do things like change things up on the screen. A great way to do that is to have the person who's leading the worship on the screen, and then down below have your words, and they just keep changing, every every half a stanza or whatever, so that people can sing along with it and read things, but they're visually their eyes are kept visually engrossed.
Absolutely. This is great. And speaking to the keeping people engaged while you have lyrics, Ecamm has picture-in-picture now, so you can set that up pretty easily, because this is another stream using Ecamm Live. So it just take a little bit of figuring out, but I really like the slides that they did have. I liked the framing was almost there. I mean, it was better than most we see. Again, I would like to see a little bit of separation because he's wearing a black robe. I would like to see a little bit more separation between him and the background. We're going to do one more here. Dave's going to pull that up. While Dave does that, let me tell you, September 29th and 30th, there is a free church marketing conference, and you can get your free ticket at churchtrainingacademy.com/free ticket. You have to get your ticket, and the conference is online, and this is actually very different, which is why I am promoting it heavily, not only because this is a referral link and we get recognition whenever you sign up with our link, but this is not one of those online summits that we've just seen bombard us now in 2020 where it's, hey, come watch live, and then, hey, you want to watch it again? $65, please, or whatever the price is. This is not one of those. Church Marketing Conference is put on by Church Marketing University. The conference is free, and not only that, they're going to give you a workbook, because every speaker is not just going to put together a speech or whatever. They're actually going to help you build out a 12-month marketing plan for your church to raise awareness, grow your presence, and get more people into your doors hearing the gospel, or even just hearing him online. So I'm speaking out of turn here, because this is not something they told me to say, but from first look, it looks like you don't even need the replay. You just sit down, watch the conference, fill out the free workbook they give you. You're going to walk away with no investment. You're going to walk away with a 12-month plan to market and grow your church. I love that, and that's why I'm going to push this, because I'm already signed up. I'm really going to enjoy it. Go to churchtrainingacademy.com/free ticket. That's our referral link. It lets them know that you're part of the church media fam, and we'd love to see you be there. I will be there taking furious notes, and about a third of the speakers...
Furious notes, like you're mad at them?
Furious notes. About a third of the speakers we've also had appear on our show, the Church Media Guys show, so they are vetted. They know what they're talking about. I'm very excited. churchtrainingacademy.com/free ticket. Go get your free ticket. Dave, you ready for that last audit?
Yes.
So this last audit I wanted to do because this one is actually broadcasted with Wirecast using a Panasonic video mixer, if that makes any difference. But the thing that caught my eye is they actually went through after the fact and added timestamps, which Dave will show you. And we have a tutorial on how to do timestamps on our YouTube channel, which I will link. But it's also a very good stream to audit. So Dave, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, when you're talking about the timestamps, that's one of the first things. When you get here, let's see, is there show less? Okay. So here's how their descriptions are. One thing I would do is, if you could, because when descriptions come in, you get like these 3 lines. I would, if you could, figure out how to shrink this wording here so that this last line right here says chapters, and then maybe has a little emoji down arrow pointing or something like that, just so that they know, oh, I can hit show more, because I may not think show more, even though it's written right there. So we can point them to the chapters, and there they are. So this is really cool. Each one of these right here will go to a certain point in the video. So the pre-service announcements, that's great. Pre-service countdown. Okay, we're at 0. Okay, watch. I'm gonna hit pre-service countdown.
Well, hello there. Good morning, everybody.
And there they are.
So beautiful seeing so many.
They're doing a little welcome show beforehand. That's awesome. Are they going to...
familiar faces in the chat. My name is Travis, and this is...
I'm Ann Monene, and we are here to welcome you today.
Morning.
I know, right?
Well, hello there. Good morning, everybody.
Watch this.
So beautiful seeing so many familiar faces in the chat. My name is Travis, and this is...
I'm Ann Monene, and we are here to welcome you.
And we get a wonderful shot of some of the stage decor. I know that was a mistake, but that's funny. By the way, that's really cool.
Hey, Dave, it's not a mistake. It's a pattern interrupt. Let's call it that.
It is a pattern interrupt. There you go.
Wait, what?
This is for the whole jail sequence. Paul is in prison and writing this letter to the church at Ephesus.
Today,
keep going. I want to see more of this intro
Abby
here.
Wong, I all logged in. Good morning, Diego Rodriguez.
Good morning, Zach Bishel.
Okay, so what are they doing? They are welcoming people in the chat, just like we do when we do our little pre-show. This is really good. I would tighten up a little bit on the framing on this, but basically this is beginning the interaction. This is the equivalent. This is the online equivalent of standing out in the foyer in between Sunday school and church and saying hi to people and visiting, and then let's go get our seat, come sit next to us and stuff. This is the equivalent of doing that, and this is fantastic. I love this, guys. Let's go down. What we got? Welcome.
Yeah, and don't be intimidated by their setup and the fact that they have two people and they look so comfortable. You can have one pre-show host. You can do it from behind the streaming computer if you really wanted to.
Yes.
You don't even need an extra camera. Just flip over to your FaceTime or whatever webcam is inside and say, hey, guys, it'll look really raw, kind of like when I'm going to go back to us, kind of like when you go to the newsroom on the TV and they've got all the reporters and people watching. I mean, the meteorologist. You can see his whole meteorology team and all the boards that looks like NASA behind them. I mean, imagine how cool that would look if you just turn on your FaceTime cam and say, hey, guys, what's up? My name is Justin. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes, and we are so glad you're here. What's up, Zach? What's up, Ryan? What's up, Christopher? Glad you're here. Ryan, how'd your son's game go last night? Let us know in the chat. And we want to know where you're watching. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but I mean, all right, guys, we're ready to get started. I see Jonathan on the stage. I'm going to switch the camera. Let's worship together. Boom, switch, slurps. How much better is that than chaperone meeting, 5 o'clock at p.m., 9 minutes left. Don't forget you can give here. Oh, man. Total game changer. Okay, sorry, Dave. I just had to gush
great.
about that.
I agree. This is awesome. I absolutely love this. They do this for a little while. Let's go to Cass Winesberry, the welcome. Okay, that's her.
Good morning, church family. Welcome to Church Online. We're so glad that you guys could join us this morning. I hope you're having a good weekend so far. In just a few moments, we're going to kick off worship. I feel like one of the best ways to just ready our hearts for worship is...
Okay, if you've got multiple cameras, I would use them here, okay? Because... simply because I am looking at half a guy here and half a guy here. So what I would do is when she starts the welcome, let her get a few sentences in, cut to an alternate angle that may show a wide shot of the stage, or if you've got a camera way off to the right or something. If you got someone walking around with a camera, if you got a camera in the back that's looking forward, it's just something like that. Just an alternate shot that you can cut to. And then, let her finish another sentence, and then you cut back to it. It's just going to be more interactive.
To just be thankful.
This is
so
awesome.
If you guys can take...
It looks like that was that a Zoom? Let me look.
Morning. I pray that every single one of your children would feel and know your love. God, we just worship you. We thank you for who you are. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's worship.
Okay, so that is a Zoom. Okay, so I'm curious if you guys have only one camera. If you're using a mixer, so that would tell me that you probably have a couple more. I would cut to an alternate shot instead of zooming out. It's just more professional. It's a little more spit and polish. But this is really looking good, and I love your lighting. I love the atmosphere. I love the flares that are happening on the lights. I mean, y'all are. This is really great. Okay, so let's get
and I think an important mindset is, oh, look how great it looks. I could never do something like that. If you just sit there and look at that, you're literally just looking at a light bar. I mean,
yeah.
You could get one with Bluetooth and activate it from your phone and set it up for $20 or $30 on Amazon.
Yep.
It's not overly complicated. It doesn't take a lot of time, and all the thought process is done for you. Like, just go copy what they do, swipe it, make it look good for your stage, and you just gotta have the mindset instead of I wish I could do that over to how can I do that.
Okay, let's take a look at her because I'm just scrolling through the thumbnails. This is a shorter young lady, and I don't know if we're manning the camera or not, but I understand you may not want to cut this gentleman's head off, and you may not want to cut this gentleman's head off. However, that doesn't matter. okay? Because she's the one who is singing. She's the one who is going to be connecting with the people. So what I would do is, if you want this, if this is going to be your primary shot, then get up close on her, okay? If this is an alternate angle, then you may want to, because we're cutting her off basically just above her knees. So like mid-thigh, she's getting cut off, and she looks like she's stuck in a hole at the bottom of the frame. So what I would do is zoom it out a little bit more so that we can see her in context, maybe see her feet, and then these guys in the background, they'll be a little smaller, but at least we'll have a little bit more context. But I wouldn't ride this shot the entire time unless it is your main shot, in which case we need to get in a lot closer. Let's see what happens. Good job with the lower thirds.
I would make the lower thirds a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
It's the sound of the Savior's robe as he walks into the room where people pray, where we awake my soul.
Okay, so we did a really nice transition right there. Again, she is the one I'm interested in. I'm squinting at this woman if I'm looking on my phone. So this bow right here needs to be up towards the top of the frame. Okay, I need to see her because she is the one who is connecting with the audience. She is the connection to the audience. So the audience needs to be able to see the whites of her eyes, the pretty brown eyes that she has. They need to be able to see that. Now, not just her big face. You don't want that taking up the entire screen because, you know, people get very uncomfortable with something like that. But, you know, I would go like maybe right here where her shoulders are if you can. Get a little closer. We will see things going on in the background. If this guy's head's cut off or he's half cut off, that's okay because he's recessed and he's in a little bit darker area, and we would have her, more front and center. By the way, she's wearing black, and this angle is black back here. I would put some lighting back here. Put one of these lights. Do something to brighten up this area. Put some uplights or something that are shining on the curtains back here, or make sure that she's wearing yellow or something else so that she will pop a little bit more. Let's see. Yep. Framing. On this wide shot, guys, I would say tilt down just a little bit. We got a whole lot of unused space up here at the top. So let's just tilt down and maybe crop in just a little bit more so that maybe we're seeing this light and this group of people right here, okay? The reality is we just need this as an alternate shot just to throw a little bit of context and to break up the visual interest. So I wouldn't try to get everybody on the stage. You know, we got to make sure she's over here banging on the keys. We got to make sure she's on here. It really doesn't matter. To the viewer, it doesn't matter. I mean, if her mom is watching this, then, you know, be sure we catch her from another angle or something like that. We have something where we show her playing and then we cut to another thing and then we zoom up on this guy and we show him playing the next time. Then we go over to the drummer and we show him, you know, that kind of thing where we're featuring the people at various times. But for a wide shot, just make sure that, you know, half your frame right now is not being used. You know, this wonderful cone of light doesn't do anything for me. But this looks really good. Here's another, same wide shot, tightened up just a bit. There we go. Framing. You guys are doing really good on this. I mean, you really are. You just need to catch that framing tighter. Even her. I mean, I would be up on her just a little bit more. Let's get to. Here's our preacher. It looks like.
Out for his bankruptcy, and he's turned on the TV and he started.
Okay, so that's one shot. I would do another shot, even if you have to do it digitally. I would do another shot where it's up a little bit closer on this person. There's our preacher.
My Wi-Fi passwords, so don't come to my house and try. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with his mic, but you guys may want to take a look at that because he sounds a little telephony on there. But this is looking good. I mean, it really is. I would have a shot that tightens up on him a little bit more. You guys have a bunch of cameras, and we stayed on this shot the whole time. What about these alternate angles that you have? Let's use those. You see me going through the timeline here? We're on this one static shot the whole time. So, you know, after 20 minutes, we're still on this shot. So I would use an alternate angle, and I would also encourage your pastor. I mean, he's moving around a little bit, but you know, if he could, you know, step to the side just a little bit, you know, let him work this area. Let him work this area instead of hiding behind the table the entire time. just so that you can have that alternate shot. So where he turns 45 degrees and he's still looking at the camera, but it's a different view. But guys, y'all are like at 93% here. I mean, this is great. I love this. Good job.
Yeah, the Ryan in the chat was like, fog or haze going on here. Atmosphere is great.
Yes.
I think and it might be, there's two kinds of fog, right, Dave? There's oil fog and there's water fog.
Yes.
Yes. This, I don't know which one this is, but it is pretty heavy. I like it subtle so you can see the light beams. This looks like 1960s airplane cabin. So I would say ease it up just a bit. And maybe it's normally, part of the problem with these audits too, like Penny said, is, you get we're looking at one image of a static, we're looking at one static image of a dynamic flux of sermons. And so we understand that sometimes you turn in an audit and it's like, oh boy, that was not the day to be there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, having to run the combine and you just had a fever the day before. So you're not at your peak best. We get it. We understand. All of these, though, were definitely a passing live stream, something that could keep us engaged. There's just the little things you need to clean up. It's just like showing your house to make a sale. You got to pick up your stuff, but you also have to clean the corners, because if they find dust on the windowsill, they're not going to buy your house. That's a big investment. And when we're talking about preaching the gospel and changing lives, we want to make sure everything is sealed, corrected, fixed, repaired, all that good stuff. Any other thoughts, Dave?
No, you guys are doing great. This is great. Everything that we see is taking what you're currently doing, which you've gone beyond. Let's get started. So that is fantastic. You're already at the next level. But now it's just refining what you have a little bit. If you are in a situation where you're running the sound, you're running the camera, you're also running the lyrics and doing stuff like that, try to work. You need to take a look at our volunteer, how to build a volunteer team. You need to bring more people in to helping you do this. And when you have more people that are trained and available, then you can actually be scheduling things, and you can do something like this person is sick. They call on Saturday. That's okay. Bob can come in and do it. He wasn't scheduled, but no big deal. I did it last week and do it again. That really helps in those situations. But even so, you still made it work, and that is what counts. So you serve the viewer, and that's what we need to do. So good job, everybody.
And as always, it's not enough to just learn. You have to execute. So everything you've learned today, any insights, any ideas, any aha moments, take that, implement changes, and go change lives.